Hello, everybody. Man Cave Sports back here. Not at the Man Cave this week. We're in separate locations. The guys are back in Steve's Palatial Estate in Hugo, Minnesota. I am in Big Sky, Montana, attempting to catch fish. So far, attempting, doing a lot of fishing, no catching. But figured nonetheless that would do a week 3 recap of the Vikings victory 34-7 over the Houston Texans. Once again, Vikings looking outstanding. Defense showed up very well. Sam Darnold looking great again. So uh, uh, on to 3-0, on to leading the NFC North, and right at the top with I believe is it Seattle and who else, Steve? It's 3-0. There's
Uh,
just a couple of us up there. Only
yeah, it's
undefeated
Seattle.
teams, I
Hang on
think.
just a second. I'll pull it up for you. Keep going.
Yeah, but only three undefeated teams in the NFL, I believe, after 3 weeks. So they're in elite company thus far, and let's be
Yep,
honest, probably
us,
outperforming their expectations.
yeah, us. Right now, NFC, it's us, Seattle, and Philly at 2-1, and then Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Buffalo are undefeated. Buffalo, we'll find out later tonight
Yep.
what it
And
is.
and yeah, I was watching the game just now. They're working them. So I mean, just a handful of undefeated teams nonetheless. So the Vikings find themselves in a small circle so far through 3 weeks. A lot of upsets yesterday. Watched a lot of the action. San Francisco lost again, so I think that was a bit of a surprise. I'll be honest with you. Tampa Bay got throttled by Denver. I didn't see that coming in Tampa Bay. So
No,
nonetheless, it was a crazy day in the NFL. But Roger Goodell's wacky bit continues to roll. Parody is good, I guess. So nonetheless, so Steve, give me your take on the game.
so for me, I think a big thing is we're winning the trenches. Right. Where our offensive line right now is giving Sam Darnold almost 2.5 seconds per drop back, and which is one of the tops in the NFL. Like he's got plenty of time. If you go back and watch, Christian Darrisaw just manhandled several times Daniil Hunter. Like the one time he just escorted him out the club. Like he was coming in and Darrisaw just rode him right behind it. Like that one touchdown pass to Jetta's the first one. Daniil coming off that Darrisaw side, and then you see Darrisaw just like, please, sir, you must exit the club this way, and at 2 a.m. you need to go home. You just walked him right around. And that's I think the big key to it for Sam Darnold is he hasn't really been flushed when he has. He's gotten rid of the ball, hasn't done anything to hurt us yet, so I think that's good. This was a really complete game, and I think one of the other keys obviously is be full of defense because nobody knows what to do with it, right? I mean, I'm assuming midway through the season, we'll see teams start to look and figure it out. I mean, even against the Packers next week, we could see, LaFleur coming back with some crazy, ways to attack that. Maybe especially with Malik Willis, he might just have Malik Willis do some running, right, and really try to break that down to open up some crossing routes, but in behind the linebackers because they got to respect that, but until somebody does it, we're still going to handle it. I think a big one too is the crowd noise. Laramie Tunzel for the for the Texans, that guy is probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame someday. But I think when you have like five either illegal formation, false starts, he was just all sorts of discombobulated. Like the U.S. Bank Stadium proved again why it's one of the number one places to play in the NFL for us for home field advantage because they're that one drive that Texas had, they had I think three or four offensive pre-snap penalties. And three of them, I think, were by Tunzel on that drive alone. Just like right in a row. Just they went from being on our 25 and field goal range, they penalized themselves backwards up until, and then they did, we're out of field goal range, got nothing on that drive. And that was when it was 14-0. So I mean, they don't shoot themselves in the foot there, and it's something maybe maybe not completely different outcome, but it is a different game at that point. And that's what I'm thinking that the crowd noise really, and then that combined with Brian Flores' defense. I think they should call it the Flores Bottle Company, Flores Bottling Company, because they're bottling up offenses left and
I
right.
like it.
You
I
can
like it.
walk into town with whoever you want, and they just bottle you up. they scorch you out. It scorch you out.
Yeah, no doubt. I did do some reading today just in regards to some of the injuries we came out with. Obviously, Darnold went out in the third quarter, came back in, knee injury. Looks like he should be okay. I know they might limit him the next couple of days in practice. Daniil Hunter went low, got penalized for it. Thanks, Daniil. Um,
Yeah.
but Justin, I think he either broke or he did something with a finger. I think he might have broke his
Yeah,
finger.
jam the finger. He should be okay. Maybe a little bit of tape or something. Darnold's MRI came back negative today, so just a bone bruise. So hopefully, it's just pain tolerance, and they didn't miss anything else with the MRI. But he said he feels good, should be okay. He doesn't blame Daniil. Daniil's not normally I think that's the first roughing the passer penalty he's ever gotten.
Yeah,
They were talking about that on
yeah,
the
yeah.
radio today. So.
Daniil wasn't known as hasn't been known as a historically dirty player, so I don't think there was any intent on that. But nonetheless, um, for the most part, came out unscathed outside those two injuries. But I think that'll just limit them in practice a little bit. I know JJ had a wrap on his quad. Didn't look like he skipped a beat with the quad injury from the previous week, so I think he'll be good to go against the Packers. For me, and we can kind of preview the Packers game before we hit on our takeaways and our bad MFer, but Jordan Love. I know that they were talking about him playing this particular weekend, but with the Vikings on a roll and the Packers, I mean they stomped the Titans yesterday. They're at 2-1. I mean, this is a big game for the NFC North. Do they
Yeah.
rush Jordan Love back? I think he's limited in practice. I don't think they're going to put him in the next couple of days regardless, but will they be making a mistake if they put him back too early? And I mean, how does he factor? Because to me, I think it helps the Packers' chances of winning. I'm all about Malik Willis playing next weekend, but I think at this juncture, as well as we're playing, we can beat the Packers either way. But it's definitely a tough game playing in Green Bay, where historically, hit or miss for the Vikings. We've had some nice wins over there and some rough losses. Great games out there nonetheless. But what do you think about the Packers quarterback situation?
Yeah, I think I think if there's any question in their mind about Jordan Love, if I was the Packers, and it's not just because I've got a purple uniform on, watching what Brian Flores' defense has done. I mean, we're the number one team in sacks, right? We're getting to the quarterback every game, 5+. We've had 5 sacks 2 games in a row, and that against and one of those teams had Trent Williams, who's going to the Hall of Fame, Laremy Tunzel on the other team, who might be going to the Hall of Fame at someday. You've got some really good quality tackles that we're getting around, and we're because of that Brian Flores scheme. I think if the Packers were smart, Malik Willis is hot right now. He's done well the last 2 games. He hasn't hurt them. They've won. I don't know why, unless Jordan Love is like 85, 90%, I don't know why you rush him back. Because against Brian Flores' defense, that is not a smart move. Because all it takes is for them, you look at some of those sacks in the last couple of days, Harrison Phillips coming up the middle, right? He's collapsed in the center of the pocket, and that is just forcing the quarterbacks. They're coming out, and that's when they're running into Van Ginkel, they're running into, Grenard, they're running into, Cashman, you've got Patrick Jones, with 4 sacks on the season. You've got all these guys coming around. The number one sack team in the NFL. I don't know why you bring Jordan Love back early unless you're feeling like, hey, he's pretty good. If Malik Willis is if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. But you got to look at it. This is the longest season we've had in the NFL, right? Does it make sense to take one division loss and then bank on us being able to bank on yourselves to be able to win more and be in contention for the NFC North title by letting Jordan Love heal? I don't know. That's me. I think we can beat it, like you said. I think we can beat him either way, though. I'm not. Neither of them scare me versus this defense.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you make a valid point. I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, I mean, we're just 3 games into the season. If you're looking long term, the Packers are probably better off making sure that Jordan Love is of health, ready to go. Will not aggravate anything and be ready towards the end of the season when you really need him. I mean, look at what's going on in Miami. Tua, who knows what's going to happen with his career, but their backup, and let's be honest, he's not that good. But he went down yesterday too. I mean, they're relegated to the third string right now. So, um, that quarterback situation is not to be taken lightly, especially when you have a decent team, which Green Bay does. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, so we'll see what happens there. Some of the storylines for this week. With that, probably a somewhat abbreviated edition of our Vikings review this week. So I'm just going to get into my three takeaways real quick. Sam Darnold once again looked outstanding. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I believe 181 for passing yards. Was poised in the pocket. Is doing great work with his feet. Just shows that leadership qualities that I think when they signed him they hoped he had. And in his career he hasn't necessarily shown it, but I mean he's shown it in 3 games here. So um, I would say right now he's the odds-on favorite for comeback player of the year. But I mean, he's legitimately in MVP candidacy contention. And granted, it's early in the season; it's only 3 weeks. But let's be honest, I think even the staunchest Vikings fanatic didn't necessarily see this coming. I believe he leads the league in touchdowns with 8, only 2 turnovers, and one was his arm got hit. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily pin that on him. So I mean, he's looked outstanding. Uh, Aaron Jones. I mean, he had a rough game last week. It looked like he got a little dinged up. Ty Chandler relieved him and did a great job against San Francisco to finish them off, but he was outstanding yesterday. 102 rushing yards, 46 receiving yards for 148 total. Had a nice touchdown reception early in the game. And then you hit on the defense. The defense through 3 games has looked outstanding. Let's be honest. Purdy played okay, but even that San Francisco game was not as close as the final score, showed, because Aaron Jones doesn't fumble at the goal line. That game's put away, well before it did. It came down to the end, but nonetheless, the defense between the sacks, the turnovers, etc. I mean, let's be honest. The KOC teams that have struggled the last couple of years, they were losing the turnover battle. And this team, the offense is taking care of the ball, and the defense is just ridiculous as far as getting penetration, roughing up the quarterback, getting interceptions. They just look outstanding. So we'll see what happens in Green Bay, but they look to be relatively healthy and playing at a high level. So looking forward to seeing the game on Sunday. So with that, Steve, you want to give your bad MFer of the game?
Walter of the North interjecting. All
Oh,
right, well, I'll be honest, I didn't get to watch the game this weekend because it wasn't the same without my boys from the Man Cave. So, if you feel that passion to watch the game and watch us, like and subscribe. We're gonna be live streaming. It's gonna be nuts. But I come to these guys when I need that information. You guys should too. Like and subscribe. Go
and
ahead.
I will say this, Walter of the North, as much as we're getting him on the Vikings bandwagon, I think we have him entirely on the Timberwolves bandwagon. He is
Oh
as
yeah.
big of an Anthony Edwards pimp as you will find in Minnesota.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, 100%. For me, wrapping it up, there's a lot of choices for the Man Cave bad MFer of the game. A lot of options that we could have gone with. We talked about a number of them. You could have thrown it to the fans. You could have thrown it to there's a lot of things that are going on. But mine is Jonathan Grenard. Jonathan Grenard, former Houston Texan. We picked him up in the offseason. He comes here, crazy cooking. We're getting Jonathan Grenard, lines up one of the first plays of the game, and the Texans totally disrespect him and say, we're going to block you one-on-one with a rookie tight end. He blows the guy by, gets a pressure on CJ Stroud, gets the holding penalty because the tight end basically had to tackle him. One of his sacks, he had 3 sacks for the game. He had 5 total pressures, 4 tackles against his former team. And one of the plays, he literally grabbed the tight end and drove him straight back into CJ Stroud before he got the sack. I mean, this guy was a man possessed.
Yes, he was.
He Harrison Phillips came up the middle the one time. That's I brought up that example. Harrison Phillips came up the middle the one time, and CJ Stroud thought he got away from him, picks up his head to go look to throw the ball, and Grenard had just swallowed him. This guy was a bad MF for all game. He got totally disrespected by the Texans. I don't know why they thought that this guy they'd be able. Maybe there's something when he was on the team. Maybe that's why, I don't know what happened with contract negotiations or whatnot, why, but he ended up coming here to the Vikings, and the Texans thought it was a great idea to block him one-on-one with the tight end. And all I got to say is thanks a lot. That was awesome. Greenard went ape crap and blew him up. 3 sacks, 4 tackles, 5 pressures. He gets my Man Cave bad MFer of the game. He was all that, the chips, and I just hope that more people disrespect these guys going forward and underestimate them, because it's going to be it's going to make for very, very fun man cave reviews going forward.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I did watch the KOC locker room speech afterwards. I loved how he got a game ball, but how he also acknowledged all the people that came from the Texans, you know, and all the current Vikings, including the staff that were from the Texans. So I mean, it was a nice moment for the organization and KOC right now, man. He's just doing a great job as a leader, rallying that team. You know, like you said, Quasi, they put this team together to play their style of, you know, KOC style of offense, B-Flow's defense. You know what I mean? They're Vikings players. They're putting the program together and bringing the right talent in. So great to see after 3 weeks. Look forward to the Packers game next Sunday. And anything else for you, gentlemen?
I'm kind of mad at you right now because of what's behind your shoulder. Behind my shoulder is my office. And so I
Yes.
got to sit here and work. Behind your shoulder are the mountains of Montana. So a little bit jealous of that, but
Oh,
well earned vacation for you. Are you going to be home next week, or what people got to look forward to?
yeah, I'll be home Saturday. So you know, we might get an impromptu screening of the Vikings Packers at the Man Cave. So we'll have to discuss that via our text chain, gentlemen. Um,
Hmm.
you know, we'll have the usual fare there. Um, you know, you know how we do in the man cave. So
Yep.
nonetheless, I'll be in touch with you guys. Maybe we will get together Sunday. I think we get home Saturday afternoon nonetheless. But I do gotta say, Steve, you definitely need some wall decor behind you. It's pretty bland, so a little disappointed. But you know, the man cave's getting full of memorabilia. We might have to negotiate and I can move some stuff over to your place
All
there.
right, I'll bring in my stuff from the garage. I didn't want to do it all in the garage today, but I'll bring some stuff in the next time that we got to do this, or
Well,
maybe we'll just sit out in the garage next time. We can sit in front of the antlers. So
there we go. I like it. I like it. Well, appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you to all who view this. You know, subscribe, like, follow, add comments. It helps us to continue to do this. And we'll see you soon.
hey,
Appreciate it, gentlemen. Up.
I got something. If we get enough subscribers to live stream this Sunday, let's do a live stream toast to the Vikings. Hmm.
We'll think about that one. Yes,
All right.
the pressure is on.
Pressure is on.
All right, gentlemen,
We'll
have a
see.
good evening. I am going to watch the two Monday night football games, which I see one 7-7. So I'm gonna go in there and check it out. You guys have a good
We're
evening.
gonna go up to the garage and fire up the TV and do that ourselves, bro.
All right, gentlemen, have a good one.
All
Later.
right, bye now.